on its last day. And in the past few days, we've seen a lot of crazy things. A lot of times that we did not expect people to run in the 40, in the cone drill, and then running it all wild. And today's the last day. It's cornerbacks and defense going today. And here's another edition of G&T Sports Talk. I'm Bobby Thompson.
I'm Julian Gallardi, and yeah, the combine's been very interesting so far. We've had a lot of standouts. I mean, DK Metcalf is at the top of the list. We have to talk about this dude. Everyone is. I don't think anyone's helped his draft status any more than he has during this event.
You want to talk about somebody who literally just played himself into a top 10 pick? He literally just did that.
Yeah,
because
the guy's a freak.
If you see his, you look at this guy and you looked at what he did in college, he really wasn't anything to brag about.
Right, the production wasn't there.
However, he completely came out of left field with this, running a 4.33.
Unbelievable.
Which I might add is faster than Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones,
Devin Hester.
Yeah. He's faster than Odell Beckham.
He has a higher vertical than Odell, too.
Yep, DeAndre Hopkins. That's something, too. And the one thing, I'm going to say, when I watched him yesterday, I was very impressed, especially since the fact when you look at the guy has 1.6% body fat.
I'm not even sure if that's real. It's crazy.
He's chiseled out of stone.
Yeah.
He's what I see is he's everything you want a receiver to look like.
And he looks like he should be in the front of a bodybuilding magazine, honestly.
Yes.
Like, you could literally put his body against anyone's, and it's like no body fat.
No.
And he put up 27 reps, too, which is unreal
when you watched him doing bench press, it was easy to him. He was and you see him, at one point he smiled. He was like this.
Yeah.
And he's
insane.
He's absolutely a freak. And I'm going to tell you this. I said this to you. I think he has potential to be the next Julio Jones. I really do.
However, Julio.
I'm going to say this, Jules. In college, he wasn't the big guy on the team.
No, A.J. Brown was the best guy
yes.
on their team. He wasn't even the best receiver on his team, which is crazy.
And now he's going to pick, in my opinion, he's getting picked higher than A.J. Brown.
He's the first receiver off the board. Yes. I think you actually asked me before what I thought, and I told you an interesting landing spot. I think number 8 with the Detroit Lions I would be looking for unless someone tries to go up, because I think he makes the most sense for them. The Giants aren't looking for wide receivers at 6. Who's picking 7? I'm trying to remember quickly.
Picking 7, I
was checking before.
If I'm not mistaken.
They didn't seem to be a receiver-needy team, whoever it was.
I know the Giants are at 6.
Yeah, Giants are 6. Let me get that top 10 back. See what's going on with that.
Oh, my.
Hold on, I think I can. Let's see. Top 10 NFL draft order 2019. Okay, Jacksonville Jaguars, which is why they're probably more focused on the quarterback potentially if they don't get Nick Foles, which I saw something actually discredit that rumor that Tom Coughlin's not a big Foles guy, so maybe this won't happen how we thought it would, but we'll have to see what happens. So I think the Lions are a good landing spot because they really need a playmaking wide receiver. They don't have any wideouts, really.
No.
So I think he would make a ton of sense in that regard. And I look at the rest of this board. Could Oakland do it at 4? I mean, you never know, maybe. You never know what they're thinking. Tampa Bay at 5. They have tons of receivers. They have no need for him.
They're extremely rich at the wide receiver position.
Even if they lose Humphreys, which they probably will, they still have Godwin, they still have Evans, they still have O.J. Howard, and if they keep Deshaun Jackson, they have plenty of receivers. They don't need Metcalf.
No, and
really.
I mean, if they do get him, you're going to have...
Wow.
That's something, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to go defense.
Yes,
that's what
they really need
on.
Defense. And there's no running back we're taking 5th overall, so I think you're right. I'm expecting a defensive pick for the Bucs at 5.
Exactly.
So I think the Lions are a great landing spot for Metcalf. Also, if the Lions pass on him, and this will make both of us sick, I can see the Buffalo Bills grabbing him, which I don't want at all, obviously.
Well, and also...
And they desperately need wide receivers, which is why I'm pointing this out.
They need wide receivers. Their wide receiver position has been absolutely...
Very weak.
Weak is an understatement. Zay Jones has been nothing but a disappointment. A former second-round pick, been nothing of a disappointment for the Buffalo Bills. They get Kelvin Benjamin. That guy is a Popeye's biscuit
Complete
away
flop.
from being a tight end. And where is he now? He couldn't even.
KC. If he
KC.
even stays there,
And
which I
no,
doubt.
he's not going to stay there. No.
And they got Reuben Foster, who's all right, but like
I mean, he's serviceable. The Bills let go of their best player with, in my opinion, Charles Clay. They let him go.
I don't know. Well, maybe on offense, but
No,
I still
I
think
mean-
McCoy's better probably
Well,
if he's healthy.
Well,
And I get what he is one of the
their
better
best
players.
pass
so-
catcher. Let's put it that way.
There you go. We're good though. Yeah,
So-
so that'll be interesting. So we look at Metcalf. He stood out. Quinnen Williams ran a nice time today as well. He could potentially be a top 2 pick even before we have the chance to select him. Ran a 4.84 today. Very good for a defensive tackle. They were actually comparing him to Aaron Donald a little bit. Some of the stuff, some of the measurables weren't too far off, but Donald was actually a 4.6 something, I think, which is just insanity. But Montez Sweat, he stole the show today so far. Ran a 4.42 as the DN from Mississippi State, I want to say. And he had 12 sacks last year, 14.5 tackles for loss, and I think he's definitely worked his way up the draft board.
Absolutely.
That's a crazy time for a DN.
This guy Montez Sweat he's very versatile too. He's willing to play outside linebacker.
Yeah, because he's played inside as well. I was looking at his old stuff. He used to go to Michigan State, and he transferred to Mississippi State. And I believe last year he was more on the inside, but this year I think they focused him at the end, and that's how you saw the nice sack numbers. So I think, but he can play outside linebacker as well, as you said. He's a hybrid, sort of.
He kind of reminds me of what Trey Flowers does for the Patriots. Trey Flowers, you could put inside, you line him up on the edge.
Okay.
So basically, Montez Sweat, a lot of people don't really know who he is. You will know who he is.
Yeah, we're about to know.
So during his interview process, a lot of teams have liked him, including the Patriots, and I would love that, especially if we lose Trey Flowers in free agency. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we're gonna get to Flowers.
However, I will say this defensive class is very rich. It's one of the best I've seen in a while. A lot of great D tackles, good pass rushers, a lot of stuff. This for defense. So you need defense. You need to pick up some defenders. This draft I think this draft class with receivers, quarterbacks, and defensive line and linebackers is very rich.
Well, quarterbacks is that's a very interesting take because the quarterbacks are very up and down. I feel like I think they view the class last year as a better class, but they're not to say this class doesn't have talent. I'm not going to say that's true because at the top, Haskins and Murray could both be very good. The real question on this class is going to hinge on 3 people, in my opinion, maybe 4. So I want to see Drew Lock is very important. Your boy Chandler Jones is the 2 quarterback. Or what's his first? I messed up the first name, didn't I?
Chandler Jones. Daniel Jones.
Oh my God, that's your boy who used to be on your defense. Daniel Jones from Duke. Okay, but he's a good player and he's going to be important in how I evaluate this class. Also, the guys that I wouldn't sleep on are Will Grier and Ryan Finley from NC State. I think depending how those 4 and even the guys at the top 2 turn out will be how we judge this class, in my opinion. But the defense is very rich, like you said. One of the strongest classes I've seen in a while. A lot of top 10 picks are going to be on defense. I think the wide receiver class is very nice too. But no one really jumps off the page besides Metcalf, I would say, but it has a lot of depth.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. You're discrediting Harry. I don't know.
Oh, Harry put up 27 reps too, actually. I was about to talk about Harry.
What's his first? Is it
Neil Harry, I think, or it's a Keneal or
I'm just going to say.
He's good too, though. You're right.
I'm just going to say the way he spells it, N'Keal Harry.
Harry, okay, yeah.
So, literally, I think this guy is, in my opinion, you saw what he did in college this year. He really transformed himself. His first year head coach. Your boy, Herm Edwards, really loves him.
That's right, Herm.
So, I
think he's a first rounder, not Harry.
Of course he is, absolutely. And honestly, it's really whoever the receiver position, it's Metcalf and Harry. Those 2 are going to be the first 2 gone. And then I'm going to say, who don't sleep on Debo Samuel from South Carolina
yeah.
and Andy Isabella from UMass.
Isabella ran a 4.31. I was
And-
about to get to him,
and
but I know
he-
you love him. I saw your tweets before how
He
you
has
want the Patriots
he has
to go
Patriots
get him.
he has
Oh boy.
he has Patriots written all over him.
Oh man, and he's from UMass too. Makes a lot
Exactly.
of sense. God damn it.
There was one guy a receiver who went to UMass who was pretty successful. Do you know who he is?
Cruz.
Yep, there you go.
Yep. See, and then Passaic Campbell also ran a 4.31 from Ohio State. Is
yeah,
it Passaic? How do you say his name?
It looks like Paris.
Pasic, or is it Pasic, Paris?
Whatever his name is, Campbell
yeah.
from Ohio State, and then that guy Terry McLaurin. I'll tell you what, Ohio State really produces some pretty good
fast wide receivers.
Yes.
Always has those speed guys. Unfortunately, flop on Devin Smith, but can't get them all right.
Well, also for those of you who don't know, who's one of the best to come out of Ohio State is that the Michael Thomas.
Yes, Michael Thomas is the truth. So you hinted at Flowers before. You've been telling me a lot of stuff about Flowers.
So you want to transition right now into?
Well, we're gonna go back and forth. I'm gonna keep it going.
Okay.
But Flowers, like you had told me, I think the writing's on the wall for him, and it's not where either of us want it. It's not with me. It's not with you. It's with one of our rivals, the Miami Dolphins. I think.
So
that's what I'm assuming is going to happen at this point.
So I will say this: the NFL free agency is in
10 days
around 9 days.
Actually, tampering's like even less. It's like a week now.
No. The tampering is in a week, so you're going to hear a lot of stuff. And
yes, we got like I said going.
On my personal Twitter account, btomps81, every signing, every rumor, I will post.
Yes, he's
via
great.
Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, all different. I will have it.
He's the dude.
That's my thing. I've been doing it for years. So
also,
I will.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
We'll retweet some of the stuff on GT Sports. I like to retweet your tweets on it so they can see it's all linked together.
We will both be in
I'll
touch.
say some stuff too, like
during NFL free agency, it's a very, very crazy time. A lot of things happen way before it starts.
Yeah, like we can tell you guys what's going to happen before it actually happens. So we have the inside information. Like we get those alerts to our phone. Like we have all the connections needed. So like we know before almost anyone.
Yes. So I will say this. I'm going to start with some free agents. So
go ahead.
Here's how I'm going to start. I'll start with my boy Trey Flowers, 2-time Super Bowl champion. I'll tell you what he is. He is not. I'll explain what he is, and then we'll get into it. Trey Flowers is a former third-round pick out of Arkansas, and his first year in the league, 2015, he was injured. Second year in the league, 2016, you saw what he did in the Super Bowl. He really played well, and since then, what he averages is he averages around 6 to 7.5 sacks a year. He's not a high sack guy. What he is he brings pressure. I think pressure is just as important as sacks because pressure makes the quarterback think twice and make mistakes. Right. So, with him, he's very underrated. He's a big guy. He's around 6'4", 6'5", around 260 range, I'd say. What he does is he gets to the quarterback, and QB hits are always up there with him. And every time you need a play, he makes it. So, what are you getting out of this guy? You're getting a workhorse, a guy who earned his money, definitely. I mean, I don't want to see him go. I feel like he really is the anchor on that defensive line for the Patriots. But I can confirm this morning there was a report that he had minor shoulder surgery.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't even see that.
Very, very common for defensive guys in the offseason. It's very minor. He'll be fine. Nothing to worry about. And listen, he's due to how rich this free agent class is with defensive players, especially pass rushers and D tackles, he's going to be due to the top guys getting tagged, like Jadeveon Clowney, DeMarcus Lawrence, Grady Jarrett. He's going to be the top D end on the market. So what is he going to probably be looking for? Obviously, I'm going to say, in my opinion, he's going to look for $15 million a year. Do I think he deserves that? I think he earned his money. I don't think he earned $15 million a year. You want $15 million a year? I want what Chandler Jones does. Chandler Jones was consistent at getting double-digit sacks a year. But in my opinion, I think Trey Flowers makes up for it with his pressures. I'm going to tell you what I think because I'm going to be dropping soon my predictions. And what I said right
How are
here,
those going, by the way?
they're going.
How far along are you?
It's taken quite some time. However, I'm getting there. But
Nice.
here's what I'm going to say about Trey Flowers. Trey Flowers is, he's going to have quite a bit of suitors, and I'm going to say I think the Patriots are on the top of the list. The Jets, who are going to be involved with every free agent.
Let's go, baby.
Indianapolis Colts like to take away former Patriots like they did with Jabal Sheard at the end. Miami Dolphins, that is the one to watch. I think the Tennessee Titans will be involved due to a lot of former Patriots going there, and the Detroit Lions due to Matt Patricia. So I will say this. I think the Lions and the Dolphins are the dark horses for this, especially because Brian Flores was so liked on the Patriots defense, is that a lot of players who are free agents who are on the defensive side of the ball are going to probably go to Miami just to be with him.
Well, that would say Flowers.
So I'm going to tell you my prediction. Due to the high market for Flowers, I'm going to tell you this. I think Bill Belichick is going to do what he does. He did this with he didn't do this with Will Fork. He did this with Dante Hightower, and he did this with Devin McCourty, two of the biggest names on the Patriots defense. He let them go out, see what the market was for them, and then they came back, and then he gave them an offer. This is what he's going to do. He's going to do the exact same thing with Trey Flowers. And the Patriots are getting much more cap space, especially since they just cut tight end Dwayne Allen and created $7.3 million cap space, now have $24 million. So I'm going to tell you this, what I think. He comes back to New England. I don't think they let him go. They give him a deal he can't refuse, and they're going to sign him for 5 years, $63 million with $45 million guaranteed. That's pretty rich, but listen, he's one of the best on defense for the Patriots. They really don't want to lose him, and he's consistent. He's there. He played 15 games this year. Injuries sometimes are a problem, but he plays through them. Patriots don't let him go. They're going to give him similar to what Stephon Gilmore got, and he stays with the Patriots.
Okay, well, I think that the writing's on the wall for the Dolphins, unfortunately for you, because because all the stuff you've been telling me, and I've seen some of the Rich Cimini stuff. What are the three guys they say the Jets are targeting are Dante Fowler, Ziggy Ansah, and Preston from the Redskins.
Preston Smith. Who a lot of people, he's not a big name who people know unless you're a Redskins fan.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of him before, to be honest.
So he's serviceable. All I'm going to say about him is he's serviceable. I'm not going to. He doesn't get high sacks, but he gets pressure.
I checked it up. What pressures did you see from him? You were looking at the deeper numbers with him?
Well, I've watched a few games with him, and what he does is, look, I'll put it in right now, is that...
Yeah, you could if you want. I know that I was checking his numbers, and he's played 4 seasons. And I saw, it was alternating sacks between 4 and 8, basically, every year so far. So, there it is right there. This year was 4, the year before was 8. And the same thing happened when he first came into the league. The first year was 4, and the second year was 8.
And look,
so it's very interesting.
The one thing I'm starting to see is he gets quite a few interceptions for a D-end.
Yeah, a couple picks. Looks like 3 picks over the last 2 seasons.
He's been in the league since he's our age.
I think that's why we like him, because he's only 26, so I guess they figured there's room for growth, and he's not going to hit a decline if we sign him because he's only 26. So from that standpoint, I like the idea. Someone on Twitter was actually saying that they prefer him of the 3. It was a Jets account, verified guy. I don't know. I don't really want to look to see who it is at this point. I could, but I don't know. But anyway, regardless of that, the reason why I think Flowers is off the board is because we are not interested in him. So it seems like we know he's not going to be an option for us. That's why I'm feeling he's going to go to Miami. But you guys are definitely still in it, so I guess I'll narrow Flowers down to Miami or you guys at this point. That's how it's looking.
So, it's going to be, for Flowers' services, he's going to have quite a nice market. However, I feel, all in all, he wants another ring, and I feel his best chance to get another one is to stay with the Patriots.
Well,
of course,
it's definitely not going to the Dolphins. That's one thing we can agree on, because they ain't winning anything.
I think they're going to be a lot better than people think because of Brian Flores, but he's got a lot of work to do, especially with the quarterback position, but we're not going to...
their offense is so pedestrian. They basically need to redo the whole offense.
Yes.
And I trust Flores to fix the defense. I do.
Yes, so you'll see that fixed, but a lot of other things are... So, I can confirm right now something I saw, and Julian saw a conflicting report
What's
that you
going
said
on?
that Nick Foles, that it involves Nick Foles.
Oh, okay.
So,
So what's the latest on
This
Foles?
is from NFL Trade Rumors, is that the Jaguars, and we could all know this was inevitable, they are expected to sign Nick Foles.
Oh, now they're saying
Yes.
they will sign Foles.
Yes,
So I've heard. Okay, so now okay.
So
all right. So now we're back on the Jaguars Foles
So
train.
I
All right.
will, for the video, I will put it to the camera. This is it, right here.
A little glare, but
Here we
it
go.
does say that the Jaguars are going to get Foles. That's all we need to know.
So
that they're expected
so
to
yes,
sign him,
that's
so.
inevitable. All I'll say about that is, I think with the right quarterback and fixing up that defense, I think that team could be right back in it. But they need weapons around him too, because they do have Leonard Fournette. However, I think at running back, and in my opinion, you need better receivers.
Yeah, so maybe Metcalf isn't playing this scenario.
That's a thing. Maybe
That's what you were going for, right?
So with Nick Foles now, you got to get him some new toys. So you have pick 7, who's right there. You could get AJ Brown, or excuse me, I'm sorry, forgive me.
Well,
I mean,
you could do Brown
Harry,
if you wanted to. He's in the conversation. I don't think he will.
This
But
high, no. I think it's either Harry
or Metcalf.
N'Keal Harry, or Metcalf. So I think, in my opinion, it's a win-win on both.
Okay.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, for the Jaguars, things are looking up. So
yeah, so I figured out who the account was, I'll say.
Okay.
Joe Coporoso is the account.
Okay.
That said he's a verified guy for the Jets, head of content with Whistle Sports, and apparently TurnOnTheJets.com, football media. He's a verified account. And he told me that he wants Preston above Fowler or Ziggy Ansah.
Really?
Yes. So
I'll tell you what, his numbers are it's a pattern. You start
Yeah.
with 4, you get 8. 4.5, you get 8.
So hopefully this year's 8 because he had 4 last year. So maybe it'll be a good idea. But then it'll be 4 again. So
However, if you look at
what else?
he has a few in his career. He has 13 pass defense, and as
That's
a defensive end,
That's
is pretty good.
Yeah.
He has 4 interceptions. He has 3 straight years with consecutive interceptions. Wow,
That's
good.
Nice. Yeah, I mean he seems like he'll be decent.
He's underrated. This guy. I don't know much about him.
I think it's because he's stuck with the Redskins, and the Redskins aren't very desirable to watch on television, really.
Yeah.
But I know about that since I'm a Jets fan, so don't worry, Skins fans. I feel your pain. So that's like the pass rush market. And also, we have some new stuff and developments with Antonio Brown. Did you see the shop with Antonio Brown? Did you see how he threw Roethlisberger under the bus?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I actually back him 100%. Ben's not a good person.
So
I don't like him at all.
Watching that episode of
kind of made me sympathize for Brown a little more.
I will say this: that show is pretty interesting, but I am not a LeBron James fan.
We'll get to him later. Don't worry, brother.
I'm not gonna. I don't support anything that man does. So all I'll say is this: on the show, Antonio Brown explaining the situation, what happened when he was benched the last game of the year, is he did say that he was banged up and he went to Mike Tomlin, and according to him, Mike Tomlin said, "You don't need to be here. Go." Now, I'm going to say this. Do I think he's lying? I'm not going to say he's lying. I think he's stretching the truth. I bet they said you could go and get treatment. He took that as okay, and I'm going to leave. But with that, there was an instance that he said that Big Ben has an owner-like mentality and that he blamed AB for throwing an interception to a defensive lineman. First of all, if you're going to blame the best receiver in football for running the wrong route, I don't care what route he runs. He's still open every time you throw it to him.
Most of the time,
and
yeah.
Big Ben, let me explain. And the game he was probably talking about was probably against the Jaguars.
I thought it was the Denver game.
Oh, it was. You're right.
I remember that play, too. That's why I was laughing when I heard Brown say it, because it was when they were down in the red zone, and he threw the pick to the D lineman.
And he said that...
And he tried to blame AB somehow.
He goes,
how is that AB's fault? He threw it to the D lineman.
And if he says publicly, he's like, well, if AB ran a different route.
What?
Listen to me.
Come on, Ben.
Ben, I'm going to tell you what. I've noticed nobody likes Ben Roethlisberger.
No, and I'm in that club too. I don't like him one bit.
Neither do I. I think he's scum.
He is scum. So we all know what he did in the bathroom at Georgia. So I'll just leave it at that.
We don't really need to get into that. However,
he's just not a good guy.
That's putting him mildly. And he's not a good teammate.
No, and that thing that also struck me that AB said was how they were talking about the slave mentality, sort of. Well, not the slave mentality, but like the 52 children or something. Like, remember when the Steelers GM or owner had said that? It's like Roethlisberger and like 52 children or something. I don't think he loved that comment too much.
You know what? That's just a slap in the face. And you know what? The Pittsburgh Steelers and Jesse James said it right. They were the Kardashians of the NFL. And listen, this team, we've said it for weeks and weeks, and we're beating a dead horse. This team should have won multiple championships, especially with all the talent they have.
Yeah, we already went through that. You're right.
And we all know this. Antonio Brown is not going to be a Steeler next year. So
Nope.
let's talk, Jules. Let's transition into where he's going to go.
Okay, so I don't know how much to read into this, but there's 4 teams that are supposedly interested.
There was 4. I know there was 3.
There's one more that I think you know, but maybe they didn't fully put themselves into it. But the New Orleans Saints are in the Derby.
Oh
yes,
yes, I did.
So we have Saints, Titans, Raiders, and Redskins. And out of these 4 teams, it's very simple which one's the best fit. It's the Saints by a mile.
Absolutely.
Imagine you put Michael Thomas and AB together to give Drew Brees one more shot at the Super Bowl. I don't see how the Saints could pass that up,
However, I
honestly.
think that's going to be, in a way, that's going to be a cause for concern because you saw AB doesn't like sharing the spotlight, and that's Michael Thomas's team. And when Drew Brees is throwing to Michael Thomas 14 times a game, he throws to AB 4. You're going to hear AB do the AB.
Oh, so you don't think he should go there?
No. I think it would be a perfect landing spot, especially to make it for Drew Brees, especially giving him more toys to work with. However, I think that AB, and we've seen this, and it's obvious, he does not like sharing the spotlight. And
yeah, that's why I used to think 49ers was the best spot for him because they didn't really have. I mean,
but
Kittle's
they're not interested.
Yeah,
they're not
interested.
interested.
They're not, which I find odd because they could use him. I thought that would be a nice fit. I mean, Jets are very 50-50, I feel like. I feel like we're interested, but maybe not like all in. Like, I think we would at the right price. Let's put it that way.
I think you guys are kicking the tires on him.
Yes, like we may.
And I think that the first round pick, I think McCognon is smart enough to realize I'm not giving.
No, we're not giving up the 3rd pick for him. No.
And honestly, in my opinion, I think a 2nd round pick for a 30-year-old is kind of a reach. I think a late 2nd or 3rd can get it done.
I'll give them one of the 3s and maybe a player. If they want.
Yeah, so
I won't do any more than that. We don't have a 2 to give them anyway. So that's what I would do. I would call them up and be like, look, we'll give you our best 3rd rounder, and if you guys have a player that can maybe help bridge this gap a little bit, we'll give you the player. But no one like Leonard Williams, no Robbie Anderson even, like someone, I don't know, I'm trying to think who. I can't think of a good example. Could you think of anyone that would help bridge the gap maybe? That wouldn't hurt us too much to lose? That could contribute to them, I guess.
Honestly, you know who you could throw in because they need it? Get rid of that contract with Tremaine Johnson. Why don't you
I mean, I would do that in a New York minute, let me tell you.
I
don't know how we could convince them to take that on, but I would do that in a minute. I would not even hesitate.
Listen, they have Joe Hayden, but Joe Hayden is a shell of himself. And I think with Tremaine Johnson, yes, it's a high cap number. And
that's
why would anybody take that? But maybe
we could pay some of it. I don't know.
Maybe Tremaine Johnson. Listen, as we all know, the Jets have extreme buyer's remorse, and I even said this to you, Jules, when you signed them. I said you guys gave him way too much money.
Bijan's didn't like it either. I remember.
This guy, listen, on the Rams, he did well when Janoris Jenkins was the guy on the opposite side.
We need to help him, I feel like. He can't be his own dude, I guess.
He is not.
Yeah.
Don't try to make him a Revis. That's what you guys are trying to get. You're trying to find the next Darrelle Revis, and you're not going to find it.
No.
I think you guys messed up royally not signing Stephon Gilmore, which worked out for me personally.
I was upset with that, too. I wanted Gilmore, I remember, but... Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good-ish point to look at. Honestly, we're trying to make him into something he's not because he's not a number 1 corner. Clearly, he's not. You don't put him on the best guy. And be like, go cover him by yourself. No. Absolutely not. If you wanted to get, torched, you go up 100 yards, you can do that.
Listen, I'll tell you.
No. He's got to be a second. We need another corner.
He's a great number 2.
Yes.
I think if you put him opposite, he'll shut down that guy. He's not shutting down Julio Jones. He's not shutting down Nuke Hopkins. He's not shutting down Odell Beckham.
No.
Listen, I'm going to say this. I'm going to sound biased, but the best corner in football right now, Julian, in my opinion, I'm sorry, is Stephon Gilmore.
Well, he's playing really well. I told you I agree with that.
What does he do? He comes to work every day.
I think he's the top rated too, probably from last
year.
Pro
Football Focus rated him number 1.
Who was rated 2? Do you remember?
I think if I'm not mistaken. mistaken. Let's look that up. I would say Ramsey, but Ramsey had a terrible year.
Yeah, he wasn't quite himself. So, what's free agency and stuff?
Pro Football Focus.
What else is notable with free agency? I'll say what I've said again, but
we got to talk about the tags.
The tags are coming, and okay, DeMarcus Lawrence is actually a big thing.
So I got some news on DeMarcus Lawrence. So him and the Cowboys have been in extensive talks regarding a long-term deal, and they are not close.
They're not going where they want. No.
Barring a miracle, they're going to have to slap a franchise tag on him for the second consecutive year.
But this is complicated because he said he's going to hold out if he gets tagged again, so he's not going to like being tagged. Could he pull Le'Veon Bell? I'm not sure about that, but he's not going to be happy if they tag him. No. I'll tell you that much.
And he shouldn't be. And also
I understand. What were you saying? Sorry.
No. I understand. It's okay. What I was going to say is that with this tag, it's going to pay him $20.5 million for this 1 year, and that's just due to the Cowboys cap number, which I don't think is pretty high. I'll get that up for you right now.
I saw that Desmond King was ready to second corner.
Yes, I'll get into that. The Cowboys cap space, right? They could afford it. They have $50 million.
But the thing is, if they give him a long-term deal, that's almost half that cap. I think that's why they don't want to pay. Although 20 is still a lot, and I don't know what they would do in a long-term deal. What do you think a long-term deal looks like for DeMarcus Lawrence?
All right, so I have this on my predictions, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, and it's probably not. This is my predictions. Take it or leave it. I think that this is a prediction that if he didn't get tagged, but he's going to.
Okay.
So I said he had suitors. He had the Jets, of course, the 49ers, the Oakland Raiders, the Colts, and, of course, Dallas.
Right.
I also think he's going to get, if he hits that open market, he's getting whatever he wants. And I said the Colts will give him 6 years for $120 and $81 million guaranteed.
Whoa.
He's trying to get Aaron Donald.
It's like
money.
Khalil Mack level too. How much did Mack get guaranteed? Sorry.
He got.
I can try to look. Hold on.
No, it's okay.
No, Khalil Mack his contract was huge. Let me see. Mack contract guarantees. I'm just trying to compare it in theory because 6 for 120 is a lot of money. Okay, I got Mack. We're good. Yeah. 141 and $90 million guaranteed for Mack for 6 years, I believe. He's not as good as Mack, obviously.
Listen, DeMarcus Lawrence does not compare to any of those guys.
He's not Mack. He's not Aaron Donald, but he's still very good. So
that's what I think. I want to know this. I want to ask you, Jules. What do you think? So with DeMarcus Lawrence, let me ask you this. Say, for instance, this is if he does not get tagged. Where do you think he goes? What's the number he gets?
I think that we would go after him if he doesn't get tagged. I could see us making a nice play. Something like 6 for 110, maybe something similar to what you had. Maybe $70 million guaranteed. I'll put it a shade under what you have.
Okay.
But I still think he would get a lot of money. I don't think he'll hit the open market, sadly. Like you said, he'll probably get franchised. So another interesting note about the tag. Came up from yesterday. I found this very surprising. I shared it with you. The Chiefs plan on tagging Dee Ford, but they might trade him, which really got my attention because I would love to have him as a Jet.
So when this report came out, and yes, he got tagged, and that tag is $18.6 million.
Wait, so it's official that he got tagged? Yeah, they announced it and everything?
He got tagged yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So with that, and there are rumors that they're listening to trade offers. Why? I don't understand. That's your best pass rusher. Well, I could understand if you're still mad at him for the boneheaded mistake that he made, and he's not.
In the Super Bowl.
And the fact that they were this close from going away from the Super Bowl, and he's unapologetic about it, says something. But you're trying to trade your two best pass rushers. Why?
Well, he did say he won't let that play define him, and he's like, I'm going to come back from that. He's like, I'm going to have a better season next year, all that.
Well, I know he's very good. I'm not crediting that.
It was a bad play, obviously, and it cost his team severely.
So he's got to, just take it with a grain of salt.
But to me, I think the issue is that I'm guessing it's a cap problem because the Chiefs don't seem to be very flexible with their cap. They're talking about Justin Houston going. They're talking about trading D Ford. This has to be a cap issue. I don't see why else they would be doing this. So let's take a look at their cap.
So
issue.
the Kansas City Chiefs and Justin Houston has a $21.1 million.
Oh, brother, I
cap
see
hit.
I see the problem now. Only $24 million in cap space.
They have only $24 million in cap space right now, and
does that count for Ford even, or is that before or after he got tagged?
This is before he got tagged.
So that means they literally have nothing.
Yeah,
which explains why they would want to trade him. I guess.
I could tell you this right now. And
what about Eric Berry? They should be looking to cut him. I would think. His number's so high.
I'll get into that right now. So
okay.
Justin Houston right now leads the team in cap hit number with $21.1 million, and the next is that horrendous contract that Sammy Watkins got.
He could be a cut candidate too, maybe. Although he did look good towards the end in the AFC Championship game, but he is making a lot of money. He doesn't really pay for that contract. I don't know.
There's a bunch of guys on this list right now who could be candidates to be cut. I think, you know what, Eric Berry, one of the best safeties in football.
He was. We got to look at how it is now, though.
Last year, he only played a few games due to that heel injury, and I think that,
Gronk abused him.
Yes.
Embarrassed him.
And the thing, Gronk does that to a lot of guys. But with Eric Berry...
I know, but I'm just saying.
The year before, the first game of the year, Eric Berry shut down Gronk.
Yes, that's my point.
And he tore his Achilles that day.
When Berry's on his game, he could contend with Gronk, but he was nowhere near that in the AFC Championship game.
He has a cap hit right now of $16.5 million.
How much relief do they get if they cut him? Does it tell you?
I could try that right now. So right now, let me see if I could go through this and I could take him off the books if it lets me. However, well, he's 30 years old. He's been in the season 9 years. He was a 5th overall pick in 2010. So let's see. Right now, if he is... they say cut pre. Yeah, let's say he's cut.
What does it put them at? 14?
Let's see what it does. I'm trying to see if it...
Yeah, so while he does that...
Here's a contract notes.
What's it saying?
Oh, in February of 2017, he signed 6 years, $78 million, $40 million guaranteed.
There's got to be a way out.
So there has to be a way. So
there's always a way. It's not like baseball.
Well, there's a problem.
What's the issue?
Here's the problem. So
they can't do it, you're saying?
So if they cut him right now,
yeah,
they cut him in the next few days. They have a dead cap of $14 million and only creating $1.5 million.
They're stuck with him then.
So that makes
that's really bad.
So basically, if I were them, I would call him up and see if he restructures. Unless you're
that's doubtful, but they should try.
So. Listen, I'll do this right now. So if they restructure his deal, they could create around $8 million in cap space. It says right now.
Okay, maybe that's a possibility.
And if you extend them, it creates. Well, you don't need to. Let's see if you trade him.
Who's going to pay that contract though?
Here's the thing, though. However,
it's 12 dead money if you trade him.
Here's the thing. It's 12 dead money, yeah. So if you cut him,
it saves you $4.5 million if you trade him. It's not worth it still.
It's just not plausible to cut him.
He's stuck. He's stuck. That's a bad situation. He got injured, obviously. He hasn't been the same since, and they're going to have to deal with that now.
Well, with the Chiefs situation, with D Ford, in my opinion, now it's 18. So they have 24.9 right now.
If they pay D Ford 18, that leaves them at 6 around.
Yeah.
Which is horrible, obviously, and they're going to have to cut a lot of people. How about Sammy Watkins? What happens? Can they get out of that contract yet?
Well, the thing is, due to their receiver situation, it's only Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, that's why he might stay too.
And the thing is, they just signed him, and they really like him.
He actually did well, but he doesn't play enough.
So
no, they can't.
No, he's
no way.
Why don't if he restructures his deal, they could create $5 million, but it's just not plausible.
He's not going to restructure.
The Chiefs have a lot of bad contracts.
Yeah, and their defense is very bad, which is the big issue.
They're not getting, and I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not going to get any better for that defense.
Doesn't look like it based on what we just laid out.
They have no money.
If they lose Houston and Ford.
They have no money to pay anybody.
Yeah, it looks very problematic.
Well, it says that makes no sense.
Wait, why?
It says right here they're projected to have $42 million to $46 million cap space. However,
maybe that would if they get rid of Justin Houston, maybe trade D Ford.
That's why.
That's probably
okay.
how.
No, that's why. Okay.
Which and then I guess they'll try to reload at that point, but who knows? But honestly, let the Chiefs be. I just want to ask, Where do you think the market for D Ford is? What do you think his price is? Like, what type of trade could you see happening if they go down that road? That's what I was actually curious to ask
Well,
you.
here's the thing. D Ford is the Chiefs are going to ask for a lot in return. That's their best pass rusher, in my
Right.
opinion.
Yeah. He
And
had
in my
13
opinion,
sacks last year.
in my opinion, he's definitely worth a first round pick, especially.
Oh, you
because
actually think he's a worth a first?
Yes, he's young.
He's 26. Is he our age?
Yes, he's. I think he might be.
I'll check D4. Let me see.
So, right now the let's see.
Yeah. So D Ford. Yeah, he's 27, close to our age. He'll turn 28, and then over to some in March. He'll be 28, and he has 30 sacks on his career. Last year, like I said, 13 sacks. So he's a great player. But here's the thing. I don't think he's worth the first rounder because you're also going to have to pay him. So I think that lowers his grade just from there.
I personally don't think he gets traded. Let's put it that
you
way.
think they won't do
No,
it? You
no.
think they're just talking?
They're going to trade Justin Houston.
Oh, he's
somebody.
definitely gone. Houston's definitely gone.
So right now it says right here, and this was updated too. After that
the Chiefs
tag,
have no money.
they have $8.9 million.
Yeah, they have nothing.
So if you trade him, add
18,
basically,
yeah. It'll be back
No,
up to 26 if they trade him, wouldn't it?
No. Add the $21 million if they trade Justin Houston. So it goes.
Oh, right, Houston.
It goes
okay.
Up, it goes up to almost
29. So at least
like
they could do
30 million.
something. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to monitor the Chiefs. Other guys who are candidates for tags. Frank Clark probably going to get tagged.
Yes, Frank Clark will get tagged. And
who's the other big? And Clowney.
Well,
or is he going to get a long-term deal? Is Clowney getting tagged, or will they do him long-term, you think?
Well, the thing is, I think they're going to tag him, but they will work out a long-term deal. And in my predictions,
You think next year he'll get his long-term?
Yeah, I think he'll play under the franchise tag this year, and I think what Jadeveon Clowney gets is he gets 6 years for $102 million, with $53 million guaranteed from the Texans. He's going to get similar to what his teammate on the opposite side, J.J. Watt, got. Look, Jadeveon Clowney's a great player, a former first overall pick. However, he is not J.J. Watt.
No.
He gets bit by the injury bug a lot.
That's
He's very
an issue.
He's very inconsistent. However, I'm a big fan of him. I've been a big fan of him since he's been in college at the University of South Carolina. He was a part of a defense that had Stephon Gilmore, that had Melvin Ingram, that had DJ Swearinger. So
yeah, they had some dudes.
They had some great talent on that defense, and the guys from South Carolina on that same defense who have been in the NFL have been extremely successful. So Stephon Gilmore because he has a ring.
Yeah.
So, however, Jadeveon Clowney, he's a once-in-a-lifetime talent. He could still do it. He gets pressure on the quarterback. He's fast. He's physical. He can hit. He don't miss tackles. However, you got to keep the guy healthy. So, I think the Texans, they got a lot of money. They are third with the most money. They have $83 million right now. So they could afford to give him what he wants.
Yeah, they
Plus
could.
more.
Yeah, so Clowney's not leaving the Texans, sadly, as much as I wanted us to get him.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at Fowler, Preston, and Ziggy Ansah, like I've already outlined. That's my main takeaway from this situation. Now, let's transition back to some combine stuff, some high draft stuff. So, Bosa ran a 4.84. We talked about him before. He's probably going to be the first or second pick. And we talked about Sweats before, and Andy Isabella, Campbell. We talked about Harry. We talked about Metcalf. Let's actually talk about the tight ends, Fant and Hawkinson. I think these are two first-round tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you like your tight ends.
Of course I do.
They say Fant ran a 4.5, which is very fast. Only Evan Ingram was faster in recent memory than him from the tight end position. Yeah. And then Hawkinson, they actually compared to Zach Ertz. And they think that
really?
Because their 40 times are very similar. I believe Hawkinson was a 4.7 something, around the same as Ertz. And they say the way they run routes and they make themselves get open is very similar. The only thing is that Hawkinson's actually a better blocker than Ertz, and I think he's more physical at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. So he might. But he's not. I'm not gonna say like he's gonna be like the next Zach Ertz, like
No.
he catch 100 passes. But I think Hawkinson could be very good, and I think he might even be better than Fant. Honestly, I think he's actually rated the first because he does everything well. He has all the intangibles. Like Fant is flashy, he runs fast, but his blocking probably isn't as good since he's a little bit smaller. I'm assuming. So I think Hawkinson and Fant are both first rounders, and I'm gonna ask you. I know you're very interested in both of them since you're a big tight end guy, obviously, and you might lose Gronk. Which tight end do you think is going to get drafted first
Which tight end?
between the two of them?
I think Fant.
Oh, you think he'll go before Hawkinson?
I think that, they're first round tight ends. I think, obviously yesterday, when I saw Noah Fant go, I knew how good this guy is. And my eyes lit up when I saw his 40 time of 4.51. I watched the tight ends go yesterday. Hawkinson looked great. I think the guy from, who was underrated too yesterday? The guy from UCLA, Moreau.
Oh yes, he was very fast too. He was around a 4.5.
And the one
I
thing
know, I was watching him. Yeah.
the one thing you're looking at is with the guy Irv Smith from Alabama is decent,
Oh yeah.
but Noah Fant is the number one tight end in this draft, and
I think Hawkinson's number one.
I think it was Noah Fant. I think Hawkinson, in my opinion, I think Noah Fant's the better receiver.
Okay, I mean, we'll
But
see.
here's the thing: I want an overall a tight end that could do both. I'm not.
Yeah, I think Hawkinson's the more complete tight end. That's why I'm arguing that he's the better one.
So you think he could do what Gronk does, block and catch?
Yes, I think he can do a little bit of everything.
Yep. So
Hawkinson's my first tight end.
yeah. So I think that if Hawkinson goes first, I think Noah Fant he's gonna fall hopefully to
No,
the.
they'll both be first rounders, but
I hope the Patriots find him.
please don't
So
anyone else.
I think pairing him with Gronk for 1 year, in my opinion,
Yes.
Jules, I think that's a scary
Also,
one too.
while we're talking about tight ends, shout out Tommy Sweeney,
Yes.
Boston College.
Like to shout out-
Bosco Proud. We personally know him,
Yep.
wishing him luck, and I hope the Jets draft him. I've been talking about this. I want that 2 tight end set with Chris Hearns on. If we take him like in the 4th or 5th round, I'd be pretty excited.
So
Even the 3rd, but I don't think he'll be in the 3rd. But if we did, I'd just be like, all right, let's get it, Sweeney.
yep. So I would like to shout out Tommy Sweeney yesterday at the combine. I thought he did very well.
Yeah, I was watching too. I liked what I saw.
I what he brings to the table. That I know.
He ran a 4.84, but we knew he wasn't going to be one of the faster tight ends. He's a little bit bigger, so
listen,
I wasn't surprised by his time, really.
I'm not looking for
Speed with him, really.
with that. I'm looking for a guy, and he could block. I've watched his tape.
He's a
He
good
could block,
blocker for
and
sure.
listen,
Yeah, he's got the frame and the size and everything.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
And he's a guy I think in the red zone who whatever team drafts him, you use him in the red zone, he'll get you some touchdowns.
Yeah, he has
He's got
good
that
hands.
size.
He doesn't seem to drop any passes. Very reliable. I think he'll be a good pro wherever he goes.
Yep.
So that's the tight end group, which was I think it's a nice class of tight ends. I think you'll see some impact with those guys next year.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's look at some other people that are of note, or maybe some rumors. So you actually told me this. Let's talk about some running backs a little bit. You told me that the Jets have met with Benny Snell, and that makes me happy because I've been interested in Snell for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He's a nice back from Kentucky, well over 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns, and I think he'd be nice for us if we don't get my boy Le'Veon Bell. Also, with that news, there's also Tevin Coleman, who is being thrown into our mix as a fallback if we don't get Bell, which I'm very happy with. I'll take Coleman if we don't land Bell. It's not my first choice. I'm going to say it to him blue in the face that Bell is my number one priority. He's the first thing I want taken care of when free agency starts,
Right.
But I don't think he'll sign right away. I think, like we've been talking about, I think Dante Fowler is going to get signed first by us. That's my guess. But the running back market's starting to shape up a little bit. And we talked to many of them. And I'm assuming in the 3rd round, we're probably going to draft a back if we don't get Bell. But we'll see how this goes. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think? I know you told me you thought Snell was a good fit for us. Also, Jordan Howard. We got an interesting notification about Howard over the past weekend that the Bears are looking to trade him. And I'm wondering how you feel this might go. Like, what do you think they'll get for him, and where do you think he'll end up?
Jordan Howard?
Yeah, because he's definitely going to go. We can tell.
No.
We were frustrated with him last year in fantasy. He was very hot and cold. He didn't seem to have a proper role in the offense. It was more of a Cohen show. I mean, but curiously, Cohen only got the ball 4 times in the last game, which still makes no sense to me. But
Right.
that's besides the point. Jordan Howard doesn't fit Matt Nagy. That's the point in this situation.
No.
And that's why they're looking to move on from him. So, like I had asked, what do you think is going to happen? Where is he going? And what are they giving up to get him?
So I think that Jordan Howard is going to get traded to the Miami Dolphins,
Right,
in my
you told
opinion.
me that.
I think that's inevitable. I think he fits what they do. I think Brian Flores will like to use him, especially since he's going to try to model the Dolphins like the Patriots do, and that run first. And you saw what Sony Michel did, and he sees what Jordan Howard could do. So I think they're going to have to give up maybe a second, maybe a third,
I think a fourth.
a fourth
I think it's only going to take a fourth.
to get done. You know what? The thing is, Jordan Howard, Jules, 2 years ago, Jordan Howard was the surprise of the draft.
Yeah,
was
he
a steal.
was like 1,300 yards. Like, he was killing it.
And he was catching the ball out of the backfield, so
Yeah,
obviously we
I
know
mean-
Tariq Cohen took over.
Yeah, it seems to
And-
be Cohen's show. The way that Matt Nagy runs that spread offense really fits Cohen way more
Yep.
than Howard, because Howard doesn't really offer much in the pass catching game. He's more of a 2-down back. He's not like a 3-down back, Howard. So it makes sense why the Bears want to move on. It's just it is puzzling though. Like you said, he took the league by storm, 1,300 yards his first year. Now he's an afterthought.
Exactly.
It's crazy how fast things happen in the NFL.
There's going to be a
sometimes.
market for him.
No, there
definitely.
will be. Like, I think Dolphins make sense. If we
Yeah.
don't get Le'Veon Bell, I think we make sense. So we'll see how this goes.
Yep.
But he'll definitely be playing with someone else.
Yes.
So also another guy who actually there's a couple people that fit that bill. Nelson Aguilar, where do you think he ends up? Because the Eagles don't want to pay him. They have no money. I was looking at your thing before. They have like what, $4 million in cap space, and they just did the deals for Graham and Kelsey somehow. Like, how we don't have any money. Now, Aguilar's definitely got to go because that cap hits around $9 million before the new league year, I think. So I would look for him to be gone sooner rather than later.
So Nelson Aguilar, you know where I could actually see him going, honestly? I
What do you
could see
think?
him going to a receiver-needy team. I could see the Jaguars trying to get into it.
Jaguars makes sense, especially because it could be Foles and Aguilar again.
Oh.
Oh, look at that.
There you go. And I could see the San Francisco 49ers being interested in him.
That makes sense too.
And you
I
know
like
what?
that.
I could also see him going to, you know what? I don't know if they would trade him there, but you know what?
Redskins?
The Redskins, yeah, but I don't know if they would do that.
Cowboys?
I think no.
They won't send him there.
I think I could see him going to the Rams. I think
Ooh.
the reason why is because the Rams is I know they got
Woods, Cooks,
Cooks,
Cup
Cup.
when he's healthy.
But I think that, you know what, I've been hearing rumors that they're interested in getting a veteran wide receiver, and what better one to get an Aguilar and
He
imagine
would
Aguilar.
just help them stretch the field
Yeah.
even more. I mean,
So, listen, I think the number one landing spot for him is going to be Jacksonville. I think it fits.
Jaguars make a lot of sense.
It
Actually,
makes a lot of sense, especially since they're not going to bring back Dante Moncrief.
If I don't want Moncrief, please no. He's just not what I want. I mean, if we sign him for a low deal and it's like a debt move, whatever, but like don't overpay Dante Moncrief and expect that to fix your wide receiving problems, please, because that's not going to get it done, and we'll be sorely disappointed. Tyrell Williams, I like more than him, but actually, Jamison Crowder and Adam Humphries actually interest me a little bit.
Yeah.
Humphries more than Crowder because Crowder gets injured too much for me, and I've had him in fantasy, so I know everything about Crowder. And I thought he was going to be way better, but I don't really think he's that good anymore. Humphries has actually started to come into his own last year. I started to see a lot of good things from Humphries. I think he had like 65 catches, like over 800 yards, so he can contribute on the offense.
Yeah.
A nice option in the slot. Although he's going to command 10 to 14 million, which might be a bit steep for me, but I understand that's the price for receivers now. And depending what else we do, I would be okay with it. But Humphries isn't my main focus anyway. Malik Jackson and Carlos Hyde, speaking of Jacksonville, they're apparently going to be traded as well. I mean, Hyde doesn't even make sense in the Jaguars at all. I mean, he was just there because of the injuries, so that one I understand. And Malik Jackson is for cap relief because they don't have any money either, and they're going to have to sign Nick Foles somehow. So where do you think these two ends up?
Well, with these two, Malik Jackson has a high cap hit. So that's going to be, and due to his age, it's
How
going
old is
to.
Malik?
Malik Jackson is. I can tell you right now. Malik Jackson, right now, is. Malik Jackson, 29 years old.
Okay.
And he has a $15 million cap hit right now.
That's a tough hit for a team that can't pay anyone.
With a team with.
Although they'll get rid of Blake Bortles, how much cap relief will they get once they do that? Because he's definitely getting cut.
Well, there's dead money. They would only get $2 million.
Yeesh.
So,
ouch.
With this right now,
ouch.
They have a lot of bad contracts as well. But however,
they're going to have to do a lot of things.
And also, if they're going to want to keep their guy Jalen Ramsey, they're going to have to do a lot of other stuff too. So
yeah, things are looking a little messy in Jacksonville right now. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, so I think Kai.
So if you take off Malik Jackson, that adds $4 million to the cap.
Wow, only 4. Damn, that's not even.
Well, it took away $15 million, but it's a dead cap. Yeah. So it's going to be a problem. And if you take off Carlos Hyde, it adds 4.7. Yeah. So.
Yeah, the Hyde doesn't make any sense in the Jaguars at all.
So what happened is it saved 11. It saved 11 million in cap space. Okay.
No, Malik saves 11 actually if they get rid of him.
Yeah.
So it looks like if you get rid of Malik, Hyde, and Bortles, it gets you close to 20, and that's the money for Nick Foles, I guess. So that would be that.
Me personally, I don't think Nick Foles is going to demand a lot. He shouldn't demand.
He is I think he'll get like 20 million though. I mean, Case Keenum got close to 20. I mean, Foles is better than Case Keenum.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's 20 plus, like 22, 20. Not like too crazy, but they'll make it work. So, okay, let's go over some other stuff. Now, the top of the draft stuff is going crazy right now. I just want to know. How do you see this going? Now, there's stuff about Kyler Murray. There's Josh Rosen. There's Derek Carr now. The Raiders saying they might trade Kyler going first. Rosen and Carr could be in the market. Then if Carr gets picked first, that could leave my Jets in position to get Bosa or Allen. Also a stance that I think I've shared in the show before. Here's my philosophy if I'm drafting for the Jets. If I'm Mike McCagnon, this is how I'm looking at it. Mm-hmm. If Kyler Murray goes first, great. That's a home run for us. We get Allen or Bosa, and you don't even think twice about it, in my opinion. Now, if Allen and Bosa get drafted, this is where things get complicated. So, there's Quentin Williams and Rashawn Gary, I'm assuming, would be highly considered at this point if we didn't move the pick.
Right.
But, in my opinion, at that point, we should go back and get more picks. Mm-hmm. And not that I don't like those guys, I just don't think they're necessarily the third picks, maybe. Maybe Quentin Williams could be. I mean, he's showed out great today, but it's hard for me to pick a D tackle third, you know?
Yeah, so
you know what I mean? Like, I want more bang for my buck at the third pick, kind of.
Agreed.
It's unfortunate there's no, offensive playmakers worth the pick because that's what this team really needs. Right. So, that's why if I can't get Allen or Bosa, I want to move back and get more picks, build through, get more linemen, get more skill position players. And maybe, depending how far back, maybe we could be in play for Mr. Metcalf. And I would enjoy that a lot. Tremendously, I would say. That would be great because that would be a nice weapon for Sam. Really open up our offense. That would be exciting, man. But, okay, I'll ask you this. Mm-hmm. Do you think, let's say the Jaguars sign Foles, so I would take them out of this conversation. Do you think the New York Giants would actually do a trade with us to go get their quarterback? What do you think? Because that's been talked about a lot. You know, Jets and Giants is very complicated. We play in the same city. We don't like to help each other out at all. We always want to be one-upping each other. So a trade between the two franchises is always extra complicated. But do you think it could actually happen?
I think it's a possibility if that's the way it's going to go down like that. However, I don't see it happening. But, Dwayne Haskins, who is their guy, and everyone knows it, they really like Dwayne Haskins. His combine numbers yesterday, his 40, he ran a 5.04 40, not fast for a quarterback.
It's actually slower than Eli's time. But there's one thing I'll say that came out. He was
extremely accurate.
That too. His throwing looked good, but apparently they were saying he had some leg cramps and he's ran faster 40s before, and he's going to run again his pro day. I've heard his best time is 4.84. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but I just wanted to throw that in there for some context of the situation. So we'll see if he can do better on his pro day.
Right.
The problem with Dwayne Haskins and the Giants is that I heard yesterday that Haskins needs a clean pocket, and the Giants don't really provide clean
No,
pockets.
they do not.
So him and the mobile quarterback is a tough thing for the Giants right now because their line's not very good.
Yeah.
And Haskins, he's not as bad as Eli. I guess he'll probably do better, I would assume, at this point because Eli's just not good anymore.
Yeah.
But Haskins would be problematic because he's very statue-like. He doesn't really run much. And if they don't block well, he's not going to do well.
No.
That's why Kyler Murray actually makes more sense for the Giants. I've shifted my philosophy on that because he can move around, make plays. Imagine him running the offense with Beckham, with Barkley, with Evan Ingram. That would be a nice attack.
It would just be a really nice tandem for the next 10 years.
Imagine that triple option, that speed. It would be fresh because Murray could buy the time with the bad offensive line. So I think that I don't know if they'll actually get the chance. I'm not sure if the Cardinals will actually take him if one. You're saying you think they will, right?
The Cardinals, it's inevitable, and then they're going to trade Josh Rosen.
Okay, so now let's say this scenario happens. Where do you think Rosen goes, and what's his price tag?
Okay, I think that he's going to get traded to the Washington Redskins. I think the writing's on the wall.
Okay.
It's really been around.
I saw that too earlier today.
And listen, I think we could all put this to sleep right now. I don't think Alex Smith is ever coming back. I think he's done. I think his career is over.
I mean,
I think that they're going to.
You might be right.
They're looking for the future, and you know what? Josh Rosen did not really fit what the Cardinals did last year. He really didn't fit well. They didn't. Other than Fitzgerald, he really didn't have anybody to throw to other than Kirk.
No.
Listen, he needs a fresh start after your first year, and if you have a chance, the Redskins, I think they're going to ask for. The one thing I'm nervous about is that the Cardinals are going to ask for a first-round pick for him.
No, they're not getting a first.
But I think
they don't deserve a first, in my opinion.
Give up maybe if you want to go high, maybe a third, maybe.
No.
A fourth or a fifth?
I think a second. I think Rosen deserves a second. Okay. I don't think he deserves a first because he didn't really play that well last year. I know they sucked and there was not a lot around him, but Rosen actually, I checked this the other day, he was the worst quarterback in the NFL. By almost any stat you look at, he was the worst out of everyone.
And also, like I said...
I know the team sucked, but he was still the worst out of everyone.
Yeah, and
which is not good.
Like I said, other than Fitzgerald and Kirk...
DJ,
they really didn't use him like...
No, that's the other thing. The offensive line was a train wreck. That was the real problem.
That's another thing. And the Redskins' offensive line is much better
I'm not saying that Rosen can't be good. It just didn't look good last year. That's what I'm trying to say. Which is why I think a first round is too much to ask for.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
I think a second is fair because he was a first-round quarterback, so I think a second could get it done. So Redskins is an interesting landing spot for him. It makes some sense. Now, let's say the Raiders get all crazy and trade Derek Carr. What do you think his landing spot could be? Do you think the Giants can make a run at Carr?
They might, but he has a high cap number, too, and that's the problem.
Their cap's not great
he's
either.
Extremely inconsistent. I mean, even when he had Amari Cooper and he had all these guys, he really wasn't putting up numbers. And it seems to me he wants out of Oakland because he doesn't like John Gruden. It's very obvious. So there would be no report that they were shopping him at the combine if the head coach didn't like him because. This quarterback draft, I think since they're so high up, picking high, I think John Gruden sees a guy he likes.
And Kyler, we're talking about.
And Kyler or maybe Haskins. I just saw something right now, a mock draft that has them getting Dwayne Haskins.
Wow.
So
that would be something. So Carr's price, what do you think he grades out to?
He's not worth a first, in my opinion, by any means. His cap number's way too high. And
I don't think he's a first either.
I'm going to go with maybe a second or a third.
A 2 or 3.
A 2 or 3.
Maybe if it's a 3, you throw something else to make it more even.
Here's another thing you're getting. You're getting a high cap number too. So a lot of teams
brings the price. That brings the price down automatically once you say the high cap number. That's what I was talking about with D Ford too. When we were talking about Ford.
I think personally, Jules, if he didn't have that high cap number, I think he would have been traded already.
Okay.
Well, I think that's what. I think there's two things chasing teams away from Derek Carr.
The cap.
Cap and his inconsistency.
Yeah. So, I think, Or it could also be a smokescreen to try to get someone to trade their pick and maybe overpay for the fourth pick. I mean, it's hard to know what's really real at this time of year. You hear a million things, so
Right.
whatever we say isn't always necessarily true. You have to take it with a grain of salt. What we do is we try to find the most accurate information presented to us, and we put our own spin on it.
Yes.
But is it always 100% correct? No. I can't say everything's always true because it's not. And that's not even our fault. Just the stuff we're told isn't always true. So we try our best to narrow down what's true and not true. We look for only verified accounts. We don't take any schmuck's opinion, obviously.
Yeah.
So, because you know how many fake reporters are on Twitter these days.
Yes.
As we learned through the whole Machado and Harper saga. Oh my
Oh.
God. But yeah. So football, we talked about it a little bit. The top of the draft. So let's say that the Cardinals pick Murray. Who do you think's going to? You think it's Bosa, the 49ers at that point?
You know what?
Or do you think they would do Allen or Quentin Williams?
I think Quentin Williams goes too.
Ooh.
I think he really
Whoa,
played well.
whoa,
And then unfortunately,
whoa.
and then the thing is, then you guys get fall with Nick Bosa, just like this happened with Leonard Williams. Remember when you guys got him at 5? I think that year.
6, brother. He
6.
somehow went to 6.
What year was that?
That was 2015, I want to say. He's been in the. This is his,
Who were you
this
guys
is Leo's-
projected to get? Do you remember?
Nah, dude. I don't. I'm sorry. This is his 4th year in the league, I believe, for Leonard Williams. So next year will be the big 5th-year option debate with him,
Yeah.
I guess. So, yeah. Leonard Williams. I'll double check to make sure, but I'm pretty sure he was picked in 2015. Leonard Williams. So what? Okay. Since I'm doing this, I'm gonna ask you: if you guys stay home at 32, what player do you want? Who are you looking for?
Me personally?
Yeah, tell me.
So here's what I think we need. I think we need to right now, since we have the most draft picks this year with 12, and we have 6 draft picks
Yeah, you guys have
in the
that
top 100
Yeah,
picks.
I don't love this at all.
So I think you could see the Patriots. I think they're going to address the receiver situation and the tight end situation. I think if Noah Fant somehow or Hawkinson falls to us at 32, I could see that happening. I could also see us at 32 trading back. I really don't like when the Patriots do that.
But that's how you have all the picks you have now.
I know.
Trading back.
But here's the thing.
I know you always get pissed when they do
I
that.
think this draft, the Patriots are really going to focus. They're always defensive heavy on the drafts. I think they're going to focus this time with their first pick with another offensive weapon. Last year, pick 31, who did they get? Sony Michel. I think he worked out pretty well, right?
Yeah.
I think they're going to find a guy. I think, in my opinion, if Noah Fant is there at 31, you got to snag him. I think you got to. Or Hawkinson, I don't mind which one. I don't care which one we get. In my opinion, if you ask me, I would rather have Fant because of what he could do. But, to me, Jules, you want to know what Fant might be? Fant is such a talent. He looks to me like he has like a Jimmy Graham type of thing to him. So,
He actually reminds me more of a Vernon Davis.
A lot of people keep saying that.
Because Davis was so quick and Davis was a 4.3 something. He was unbelievable.
He was that good.
He was a 4.38 Vernon Davis. What a stud.
And we all know what happened with that and
Yeah.
Mike Singletary in San Francisco.
Oh my God.
So
yeah, you were talking about the tight ends. Go ahead.
So I think that the Patriots need to address the receiver tight end situation, and then with the other picks, we'll address like offensive tackle if we need it, or if we lose Trent Brown. If I could see us going after a lot of linebackers. I would like that a lot. Like I really think that the Patriots just go offense. They really want receivers. So don't be surprised if the Patriots trade up for one.
Right. You guys, I think you actually might trade up for once instead of going the other way.
And don't be surprised. Like, I could see, listen, Bill Belichick does things that you never know.
Right.
So I could tell you this right now. The Patriots could be looking at, I know they've had a lot of visits with receivers, and I could tell you right now who they've had visits with. Let's see here. I could pull it up for us.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, I'm going to go over some stuff that happened in the Combine that was notable. Dexter Lawrence got injured today, running the 40, hurt his quad. It was a 5.04. He pulled up lame. He's probably done with everything. Might hurt his draft status. Hopefully not too much. Really tough break to get injured during the Combine. He was also the guy that got suspended for failing the drug test, so he's definitely going to be falling down those draft boards. He might even be like second or third rounder at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a tough break for him. I think someone that looked very good today that hasn't really been getting a lot of notice is Jerry Tilray from Notre Dame. I think he could be a very good player. I saw a mock draft had him in the second round because of some character concerns. I don't know the full story, but I think he'll be a nice fit for whoever takes him. Also, we talked about Rashawn Gary before. He ran a nice 40, a 4.61, so I think that helps his status a little bit. So he's very explosive, and like I said, he can play over the line. So if we took him third, I wouldn't be like as pissed as I thought I would be. Like, I'll just be like, okay. But it's just not like what I was looking for with the third pick. It's just the way this draft class is. So we'll have to see how all that goes.
Right.
So what are you looking into now?
So the Patriots yesterday at Combine visits, they visited with Marquise Brown, a wide receiver from Oklahoma, who's very
right, I know him.
under the radar.
Isn't that the cousin of AB? Or is that someone else?
I think that might be his cousin.
Marquise Brown. Yeah, it's got to be him.
So they met with a guy named Blake Cashman, a linebacker out of Minnesota. They met with Noah Fant, so you know.
Oh man, I'm so nervous to this. I don't want this.
From what I'm reading,
this is gonna be like Sony Michel last year. I'm gonna be screaming at you when you guys picked Noah Fant.
So
and I knew
they did meet with a guy, underrated D tackle out of Ohio State, especially because their new defensive coordinator Greg Schiano.
Right, that makes all the sense.
Is Draymond Jones, who Nick Bosa said is the fastest pass rusher he's ever seen.
Okay.
Inside pass rusher.
What was his 40 time? Did he do the 40? I'll have to check.
They also met with Irv Smith from Alabama, so it's safe to say what two tight ends they like.
Right. Do you also think this is an indication that Gronk's retiring?
You know what? I think they might.
Well, they're definitely being cautious in case he does retire. Yeah. That's how I'm looking at it. Wait, who did we meet with?
Let's see. You want me to show you?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me see.
Let me pull this up for you for 1 second. Okay. So you guys met with you guys met with a lot of people.
All right, that's too many.
So yesterday, I'll throw
just highlight the important ones. Okay. I guess.
You guys met with Nick Bosa.
Nice.
You guys did meet with Rashawn Gary.
Yep.
You guys met with a lot of running backs. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I took away. We really need a running back. That's what's pretty clear about this.
You guys met with Bryce Love. Wow, out of Stanford yesterday.
I love that one. I got love for Bryce Love.
Haha, funny. That's cute. Let's see. You met with Benny Snell.
Benny Snell, yeah.
I know you really are a big guy of Benny Snell.
Yeah, so Jonah Williams, I see.
Where Jonah?
Jonah's towards the bottom.
Jonah Williams, yep. You got, but a
Devin
lot of
Singletary. Ooh, I like that one.
But the one thing I'm shocked about is you guys didn't meet with any big receivers. I'm shocked. Wow.
Well, I think this is because this day accounts for. Actually, I don't know.
No, it's the whole combine.
Why would we not meet with any wide receivers? That's odd. Okay, well, all right. I guess we could use some wideouts, but I guess we're not interested in drafting one. That's very strange.
And I also can say that the Patriots also did meet with at the Senior Bowl with Will Greer. Will Greer is one guy in New England I think is a sleeper for us. After watching yesterday the quarterbacks, Drew Lock impressed me. Dwayne Haskins impressed me. There's one guy who I'm really upset about who did not do well, and that's Daniel Jones. He really did not come to play.
He underwhelmed for you?
Yes, and he underwhelmed everybody.
So you think he fell out of the first round? Is that how bad it was?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Because I saw some of the quarterbacks, but I didn't see that part of it. So, yeah. Daniel Jones maybe took a hit with that pick.
Prospect meetings. Let's see. Okay. This is for the Senior Bowl.
All right, yeah.
Who teams met with, and it doesn't really have that big of a list.
Yeah, I think we're about good with football, though. I don't know what else, unless you have more stuff you want to
Nope.
cut into.
No,
I
I
think
think we're
we
good.
did a lot today, especially since nothing's even official yet. But we just went over the combine, the draft. Follow us on GT Sports, talking everything, So we're also going to do basketball, but we're going to do that in a different video because this one went pretty long.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Julian Gallardi.
I'm Bobby Thompson.